Hi, I'm Abby Hoeschler, president of Key Log Rolling and a world champion log roller. I've been an instructor for almost 15 years, and today we're going to take you through an introductory session with two brand new beginners. Fill your key log while it is in the water using funnels. You can also use a hose. Make sure it's completely full. Place trainers on the middle and ends of the key log. Cinch the straps as tightly as possible. Find more details on safe and proper setup at keylogrolling.com/support. Hi Gigi, hi Matt. Thank you for being here today to help us demonstrate what it looks like for beginners the first time they learn how to log roll. So we're all set. We have the logs filled up. We have the trainers put on to slow and stabilize the log for beginners. Really all we need as beginners are a swimsuit and either bare feet or water shoes. The key logs have traction on them, so it's fine to go barefoot. As you start to improve, or depending on what the surface of the bottom is, you might prefer to wear shoes, but we're gonna go barefoot today in the pool. We'll be all set. Before we get started, we're going to go through some things on the deck here, because once you step on the key log, your mind is racing and it's a brand new experience, so it's good to get a little bit of practice on stable ground. The first time you step on the key log, it'll feel unlike anything you've ever done before, and so it's very natural to fall off right away. After a couple times, you'll start to feel more comfortable, and I think you'll be surprised at the progress that you can make. There are a few main concepts that you want to think about when you're first starting. One is that log rolling, like in snowboarding, surfing, skating, you have a dominant stance. When I'm on the key log, I am standing in a certain direction, whether I'm on one side or the other. My dominant side is actually my left foot. So when I stand on the key log, I'll have my left foot towards the outside end of the log. So that's just good to know, so that when you try it, just know that you have a dominant side and that you should try both. Second thing is that your goal as a beginner is not necessarily to make the log spin, it's to stay on top by taking small, fast, really little steps. A lot of times people ask, well, which way is it going to spin, or which way should I make it spin? Well, as a beginner, you just want to feel comfortable staying on top, knowing that if you lean forward, the log is going to start to spin forward. If you're leaning back, it's going to start to spin back towards you. So dominant side, and just your goal really is to just stay right on top, not to make the log spin. The instructions to log rolling are pretty basic. We're going to start with our stance, our positioning on the log and where we're looking, and finally our step. So we'll first go over the stance. Like I said, you have a dominant side in log rolling. If I'm on one side of the log, let's say I'm right foot dominant, my basic stance is feet hip width apart, knees bent, arms can be slightly out for balance. Your outside arm, the one that's towards the end of the log, will be slightly in front, and your inside arm will be down at your side or slightly back. Your position on the key log, you're either on one side or the other. You want to be looking down the length of the log, and that's one of the more challenging instructions for people, because when you're first learning, your first instinct is just to look right down at your feet, because you feel like the log is going to move and you want to see what's going on. So really try to resist that by looking down the length of the log. You will, one, it'll help keep your core centered over the log, and two, once you start to challenge another person, you want to look down at their feet to see what they're going to be doing. And finally, most importantly, is your steps. The most important thing in log rolling is to never stop moving your feet. It's sort of like if you were on a treadmill that goes forwards and backwards and you're not quite sure when it's going to do that. So the steps are basically very fast, small steps right on the top center of the log. You're not up on your toes, and you don't want to be back too much on your heels. You're really on the flats of your feet. So let's go over the stance and the step just right here, just to get comfortable doing it on stable ground, and then we'll try it on the key log. Okay, so knees bent, arms out for balance. Now we're picking our feet up super fast, even faster, double time. Up and down, up and down. We're looking at each other's feet. There you go. Good job. Before we get ready to take our first steps on the key log, it's important to think about safety. Log rolling is a very safe sport, but like all activities, certain precautions must be taken. As I mentioned, in log rolling, the first couple times you try it, you're gonna fall and fall and fall. So it's important that you have a safe fall zone to fall back into. You want the log perpendicular to any structure in the water, and you just want to make sure that you have about 10 feet in front of or behind you when you're falling. It's also important, if you're at a natural body of water, to make sure that the water underneath is clear of any debris, to make sure that you're just falling onto a clear surface. Another really important thing is when you're log rolling in a group, people are going to get really excited and they're going to want to cheer for you, and they're going to get closer and closer to the log. And so you just want to make sure that any other participants are waiting or standing at either end of the log and not in front of or behind you. People often think that they're going to fall right on the log or injure themselves when they're first learning how to log roll. But in reality, it's a really safe sport. If you stay right in the traction area, the red traction area, you'll have really good grip. And the main reason why it's a very safe sport is that when you're falling, the reason why you're falling is that your body weight is moving away from the log. Your core is moving away from the log forward or backwards, and that's why we want that fall zone. Log rolling is a low impact activity. As you improve, you might find that you'll fall a little bit closer to the log. That's actually a sign that you're getting better because you're really trying to stay over the key log. As you fall, you might fall onto your shin, you might fall on your bottom. It doesn't hurt because the log gives in the water and it's spinning, moving away from you. So in over 24 years of log rolling, I have never been injured. There are a few different ways to get onto the key log depending on the depth and type of water that you're in. If we were at a beachfront where we can just be like knee deep in water, we would just have someone holding the log steady for us as beginners and just step right up onto the key log and start moving. Since we're in a pool here, we're going to be in about 3 to 4 feet of water, and you can either get onto the key log from the water or from the edge of the pool. As beginners, it's best to get on from the water, just learning. So we'll be in a chest deep water. You're gonna come up to the log, almost like you're coming up to get onto a horse. So you come up, you put your hands on the log. I'll be holding it steady. Hoist your leg over and sit on it almost like you're straddling a horse. Your arms are gonna be in front of you, and you're going to put your feet up behind you and go from a low squat to standing. So let's just practice that here right now, just as though, let's say that we have a log underneath us, kind of in a frog position. Our feet are behind us. We're just gonna push up and pop right into our stance, okay? 1, 2, 3, up. Okay, nice. Let's go through it one more time with the full sequence. Okay, 1, 2, 3, up. Fast feet up and down, up and down. Okay, so Gigi, you had sort of a staggered stance like this.
Yep.
Let's just bring our feet closer together. There we go. Let's try it one more time. Okay. 1, 2, 3, up. Up and down. Nice. There you go. Good job. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the log just like I was going to get on a horse, and I'm going to hoist myself up, throwing my left leg over, straddling the log, facing the middle. I'm going to center myself on the log, put my hands in front and my feet up, resting up on the log behind me. Take a deep breath and just pop right up. As soon as I get up, I start moving my feet. My knees are bent, always keeping my core really centered over the log. I'm never stopping moving my feet, taking small, tiny steps. My arms are out for balance, and I'm looking down the length of the log. Is that easy, right? As a beginner, it's important to step onto a still and steady key log. So you can do that with the assistance of a friend or log holder. They should stand at the end of the log, and they can hold the log steady by using the fins of the trainers. As you get steady, then they should let go. So we'll hold it steady for you, Gigi, as you get up. And once we feel like you're set, we will slowly let go. Okay.
Oh, I'm supposed to do
Yep,
that.
arms in front, like nice. There you go. Okay, where's your gaze? Look down here. Now fast little steps. Just I'm gonna hold it steady and you just get used to practicing your footwork. Look down here, look down here, look at my hands. Okay, Matt, you can slowly let go. Yep, back, back, back. Nice, little step. Good job. That was great. That was a perfect example of a beginner log roller. There you go, nice. Okay, each time was better. There you go. Now pick your feet up and down, little steps. Fast feet, up and down, right up on top, up on top. There you go. And Matt, yep, you can slowly let go. Little steps forward, up. Look over here, look over here. There you go. Nice. There you go. Bend your knees. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Nice. Good job. Okay, fast feet, fast feet, fast feet. Sit back, sit back, sit back. Nice. The first couple times you got up, when you first popped up, you popped up as though you were left foot dominant. Let's just try it to see if you feel more comfortable standing the other way as though you're right foot dominant. Bend your knees, get your feet going. We're gonna hold it steady. Fast feet. Okay, I'm gonna let go. Little steps. Nice. There you go. Yep, sit down, sit down. Good job. So, you gave it a few times. How did it feel the first couple times?
It was fun.
It was really fun. Very hard to balance.
It felt like at the beginning I was taking really big steps, so I was like launching myself off, and then starting to realize that those smaller steps, taking a lot of small steps makes me on top of the log versus getting way back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did great for your first couple tries. So now we're gonna focus a little bit more on the back step. You know, as you probably heard me saying, sit back, sit back, sit back. And we'll talk a little bit more now what that means. So as you were falling in on your front step, all of your weight was going forward. The log is spinning forward, gravity is pulling you in, and so you really need to work to resist that, and you can resist that by sitting back, putting pressure into your heels, using your leg and your butt muscles to really sit back on the log and get that weight back. It's gonna feel sort of like a squat or a wall sit or chair pose in yoga. And the hardest part is to get into that position and also move your feet really fast. So a good technique to try to practice that is I'm going to pretend like I'm the weight of the log, I'm the force trying to pull you into the water, and you're gonna resist me. So I'm gonna hold your hands, and you're just gonna sit back and really resist me. I'm gonna pull you forward, that's it, nice. Yep, take small, fast steps. You're keeping your shoulders up, which is great. Now try to sink even a little bit lower and pull me a little bit more. There you go, nice, that's it. Good job. Okay, you wanna try it? Okay, resist that, yep, there you go. Try to pull me back toward, yeah, there you go. The other thing with the back step is it feels a little bit scary. You know, you're falling forward and you're like, what am I supposed to be sitting back into? There's, you know, you don't know what's behind you. There's nothing that's gonna catch you. Well, basically the water is gonna catch you. So if you sit back like this and you fall off backwards, you know, you're still in a very safe position. And the spin of the log in the opposite direction is that force which is gonna keep you on top of the log. So now that we've practiced the back step on the pool deck, let's give it a try here, really focusing on transitioning your body weight towards the back of the log as it's spinning on your back step. Again, as always, thinking about really fast, small steps. Okay, you're backing up, sit back, get your, yeah, that's it, yep, now transition forward. There you go, little steps forward, little steps forward. There you go. Okay, sit back, sit back, sit back, nice. There you go, perfect. That was great. It's better to just sit back and let yourself fall backwards than just to let yourself give in to the log. Okay, sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back. Nice, there you go. Yep, now small steps forward, small steps forward. Okay, so you took a couple quick little steps and then you kind of paused. Again, there's no pausing in log rolling. Okay, Gigi, you wanna try? Yep, sit back, sit back. Okay, it's gonna go faster. Little steps forward. There you go. Great, yep. Sit back, sit back, sit back, back, back. Sit down. There you go, nice. Back, 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 back. Sit your butt back. There you go, little steps forward, little steps forward. Good job. So we're gonna pretend that you're both on the same key log right now. And so Gigi, you'll be on one end. And Matt, since you guys are both right foot dominant, Matt, you'll be facing opposite directions with your back to the camera. And we're gonna get in our stance. You guys are looking down at each other's feet and just super fast. Bend your knees up and down, right on the flats of your feet. Nice, keep looking at each other's feet. Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going. Nice, there we go. Great, you guys. Cool. Okay, so now comes the fun part, rolling with or against another person. Adding another person on the log is going to create another dimension in the sense that there's more weight on the log, and that weight is moving in directions that you're not necessarily going to anticipate. So it's even more important to take those small, fast steps to keep your knees bent so that you can transition forwards and backwards. And now you really want to make sure that you're looking down at your either challenger, competitor, or partner's feet. So I'll hold the key log. You guys will first get to the point where you're straddling on the log, facing each other, and then communicate with each other about when you both feel ready to stand up. And as soon as you stand up, again, small, fast steps. Okay, ready? Bend your knees. Yep, bend your knees, bend your knees. Pick your feet up, Steady, steady. Okay, letting go. Sit back, Gigi, sit back. Little step, little step. Good job. Yep, there you go. Okay, bend your knees. Pick your feet up and down, up and down, up and down. Nice. Okay, that's good. Okay, so you've had a little bit of practice, and I think you've progressed to the point where we can take one trainer off. So we're down to 2 trainers, one on either end. So it's gonna be a little bit faster. You're gonna wanna take, again, faster or smaller steps. We're also gonna try a new way of getting onto the key log because you have the balance down, have the footwork. Sometimes it's easier for the instructor to sit on the edge and hold the log this way. So I'm gonna hold the log in between my legs. I'm gonna hold onto the fins of the trainers, and you're just gonna step right over the trainer directly onto the traction surface. Same thing, bend your knees, small fast steps, looking at the other side. Step over, there you go, nice. Okay, bend your knees, ready, pick your feet up, ready, steady. Look down at his feet, Gigi. Good job. Well, I hope you guys had a fun time learning how to log roll. As with anything, improvement comes with repetition and practice. So just keep practicing your technique and footwork, keep rolling, and have fun. Please refer to the instructional manual included with your key log for detailed information on safety, techniques, and other resources. Key log rolling is growing rapidly across the U.S. and even internationally. For additional programs, visit keylogrolling.com.